Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Monday or whatever day you're watching this. I just want to remind you that the worst that they could say is no. A lot of times we want to try something or ask someone a favor or collaborate with somebody or look for sponsorships or whatever the heck. Like apply for the job, and or apply for the opportunity. And we're so afraid of no that we won't even do it. We're so afraid of like what will happen if I put myself out there. And I get it, it's scary. But the worst that they can say is no. The worst that they can say is no. And no doesn't have to be the end all be all. No is just an opportunity to do something different. You know what I mean? There are so many chances I have not taken in life because I'm afraid of hearing no. I'm afraid of rejection, right? And it's really not even about the rejection necessarily. It's about how I interpret that rejection. So someone could say no, and they could have a million reasons why they said no. I'm not a good fit. They don't like me. But it could also be like they don't have the capacity. It's just not the right time. It's not the right connection, right? But I'm making all of these judgments about myself because someone said no. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not even that deep. And sometimes it is, right? Sometimes it is. But if someone is saying no because of some like nefarious reason, you don't want to work with them anyway, right? And so I'm in this place where I am challenging myself, or I am encouraging myself, right? Let me use softer language. I am encouraging myself to go for big asks. And I mean big asks, right? Like, hey, I need $100,000. Big asks, right? To do my projects. I'm asking for sponsorships from certain places because I want to go on tour, right? With my music. And that fear has come up. That fear of, what if they say no? What if they reject me? What if, right? But if I never ask, if I never ask, I won't know that they're going to say no. You know what I mean? They could say yes. The best case scenario is that they say yes, they give more than what you ask for, they connect you to somebody else, or it could be like maybe they don't give you what you think you need, but they give you something else. You know what I mean? And there's so many things that are stopping us from asking for what we really need. The shame of asking for help, the fear around rejection, right? The thought of being looked at as weak or vulnerable, right? Because of things that we've experienced or things that people have said, judgments from other folks, right? A lot of these things, a lot of that self-talk is not even us, it's other people. We should be celebrating ourselves every time we go for a big ask. Every time we go for a big ask, we should be like, you know what, I did that thing. No matter what they say, yes or no, I did that thing. And there have been writers, when I was really writing and I wanted to get my book published and all this other stuff, and writers were saying they sent so many, letters to these publishing companies, and one writer collected the no's, right, as a celebration of her doing hard things, of her doing scary things. So what if instead of waiting for someone to give us the opportunity, we celebrate ourselves for what we can control? And that is asking. That is going for the big ask. That is allowing someone to say no to us, right? Being brave enough to accept the rejection, because rejection doesn't have to be rejection. A lot of people say like it's redirection, right? It's not rejection, it's redirection, And I just have too many dreams that I know I can't do by myself. I have too many ideas I want to get out there, and no one is being served by me sitting on the sidelines, not asking for the help that I need. The worst that they can say is no. But really the worst, it's not even that they can say no. The worst is that you never ask in the first place. You never give light to your idea or your dream. You never give yourself a real opportunity to do the thing. You know what I'm saying? So write down those big asks. What are those things that you're afraid of asking for help around? What are those things that you're afraid of asking for sponsorships for, or money for, or whatever? Connections, collaborations. What are those things, and what is that fear? Because I promise you, it's not just the rejection. It might be, oh, I'm afraid of being embarrassed. I'm afraid of being vulnerable. I'm afraid of people making fun of me because someone says no or rejects me. Because we can redefine what rejection really looks like. We can redefine what failure looks like. I only have control over what I have control over, and that is me reaching up my hand and saying, hey, I need help, right? I need help. Yeah. And I really feel like it's a big thing for Black women too, because again, this idea we have to be two times as good, twice as good, however many, 10 times as good to get half as far. Like that that lie is so like deeply set in our bones, or these ideas that say, God only helps those who help themselves, which is not true. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, we're so prideful because we feel like to ask for help is weakness. We feel like, to ask for support, I have to prove that I'm worthy of asking for support. And that's not true. White folks out here all day long being entitled and asking for things they have not worked for, asking for things that they don't deserve, using air quotes, right? Like, just taking stuff. And we're so diligent, we're so sometimes prideful, we're so fearful that we won't even ask, because we want to make sure that all our, I's are dotted, our T's are crossed, we're on our P's and Q's, you know what I'm saying? Like, before we even ask for anything. And it's time out for that. You're not weak for asking for help, you're brave. You're not entitled for asking for support, you're brave. You're resourceful, right? You're generous. You're allowing people to be generous with you. Some people want to support you, but they don't know how. That's the truth. They don't know how. They're behind you, they love your mission, but they don't know how. And I don't want to be ashamed of my mission so much so that I don't ask for help, that I allow this dream and this vision to die because I'm too prideful to ask for help. I journal about this, and I don't know which journal it's in, but I thought about this idea about, like, why am I so afraid to ask for the help that I need? Like, what is that? Where does that come from? Like, this idea that I can't ask for help, this idea that I can't collaborate. You know what I mean? And a lot of that came from trauma, being let down. I had a lot of people say they were going to come through for me and they didn't. So there's that. And so you get this idea of like, well, if it needs to be done, I got to do it myself, right? I can't depend on nobody. I can't ask for nobody for help. I can't, depend on anyone, right? Like, I have to be the person. That's exhausting. That's tiring, right? But then there's also this thought of, well, I'm a strong Black woman. I should be able to handle this. And that's a lie we've been taught. We should be able to handle heavy things. Like, you're weak if you need help. That's not true. That's not true. And we don't have to operate within those parameters of what strong looks like. Asking for help is strength. Reaching out a hand is strength and saying, yo, I ain't got it. We don't want to have to exhaust ourselves first before we ask for help. You know what I mean? I do think there is something to being diligent over what you have and what you can do. But once you realize that you're becoming fatigued, I think it's time to ask for help. Before you realize you're becoming fatigued. You know what I mean? Even if things are easy for you, why not ask for more help? Why not make more asks, right? I forgot who I was listening to. Forgive me. But this person said, I have as many shots as I'm willing to take. There is no there is no end, to the shots you're able to take. We just don't take them. And we determine that we're done. We decide that, that's enough, right? Because we get tired of the no. We get tired of the not now, or the you don't have X, Y, and Z. And we internalize that stuff, right? Instead of just saying, you know what? Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for seeing me and hearing me. Thank you so much for your consideration. I'm on to the next thing. Right? Or maybe you can work with me in this way. But we count ourselves out when the world is abundant. We count ourselves out when they could say yes. Or, no, but here's this other opportunity. And sometimes I think that the right opportunities don't come until we see that no. Until we're brave enough to take that no. Brave enough to take that rejection. They might say no, right? But somebody, I think God honors that. Somebody comes out and says and offers something that you haven't even reached out to them and asked. Like, God works in wondrous ways, okay? God is easy. God is simple. Simple, beautiful, but simple, right? We complicate everything ourselves. It's us. It's the things that we're attaching to that no and that rejection that's stopping us from doing the thing. Right? And forgive me if I'm all over the place. This is not planned or whatever. I'm just processing in real time. But I really think that we should just go for the big asks. What are 10 big asks you can go for this week or this month or today? It could be simple, like, hey, can you help me wash the dishes? And you're afraid of, like, this person, we could be making up these whole scenarios that aren't even true. This person doesn't care about me because they don't do X, Y, and Z. Well, have you asked them? Maybe they just don't know how to help you, right? Or maybe they're not even thinking about it. Or, it could be as big as, hey, I need $100,000 for this project I'm working on, company, that say that you value Black women and you value whatever, right? Whatever your cause is. And seeing what they say. And maybe they don't give you money, but maybe they give you a platform, or maybe they give you some other currency, some other, version of wealth that could help you on your journey. But you have to go for the ask. You gotta ask. Right? Please and thank you are the magic word. Shout out to Marnie. Ask. And even if they say no, thank them still. Thank you so much for your consideration. I appreciate it. And then move on to the next ask. The trick for me is not attaching myself to that ask. Even if it is my project, something I consider personal and dear, right? I cannot go into things taking those things personally. Because people have their own personal stuff going on and they're not thinking about me. I'm just some random woman who's reaching out to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's not that deep, right? We don't have to assign worth to ourselves based on the rejection or the acceptance from other people or of other people, right? Like, we are inherently worthy. We are inherently valuable. Our idea is still good, right? They're just not the people, organization, place, venue, whatever. Like, they're just not the thing right now. And maybe later they will be, but right now they're not. That doesn't mean that we should give up on what we're asking for. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm probably going to share more thoughts about this later, because I think there's there are big reasons why Black women don't ask for help in general. But I'm trying to tell you, go for it. Shout out to Nina, who I want to interview here. But Nina says something in the garden when we meet up. She says, like, be like Chad, be like Brad, right? Brad is, an avatar of a white man who asks for what he wants, who is entitled, right? We can be annoyed all day long, but Brad is at least audacious enough to ask for what Brad wants. It don't even have to be needs. Like, we're so like, what do I need? Let me go for the small asks. No, whatever you're going to ask for, double, triple. Go above and beyond, right? Because the worst that they can say is no. Or if what you really need is maybe 3 times less than that, if you go 3 times bigger, maybe they give you more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'll give you half of that, which is still more than what you asked for. I hope the math is making sense. But either way, like, it's time out for playing small. It's time out for allowing fear to convince us that we are not worthy, that our ideas are not inherently valuable, that they're not worthy of being supported, that we got to do things the hard way, that doing things the easy way is copping out. No, do things the easy way so you can get your vision out there. There's no honor in doing things the hard way. There isn't, except for maybe kudos from other people. She's so hardworking. And now you tired, and what was it all for, right? If we do things the easy way, right? If we go for the big asks, that's the hardest part, going for the big asks. Identifying what you need, how you can be of value to them, right? And asking what you need, what you can offer them in return, and asking. And sometimes what they can offer, or what you can offer them, is the opportunity for them to support a Black woman artist, right? A small business, an organization. Oh, I've read that you honor, or you support these causes. Well, I line right up in that cause. That could be your philanthropy for the year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, finesse it, but still ask. Still ask, because the worst that they can say is no. But you're not helping anybody, yourself, nobody else that you're serving, by sitting on that ask, because you're too prideful to ask, because you're too afraid of them saying no. And all no does is open other opportunities for someone else to say yes, for something else to say yes. Get through the no's to get to the yes. Because somebody will say yes. We just have to be audacious. We have to be steadfast, right? We have to be so understanding of our worth, like feeling it in our bones to ask in the first place. Because the worst that they can say is no, and that means nothing about our worth and our value. Even if, this is the thing, even if they devalue your thing, doesn't mean that it's not valuable, right? Some people value water. Some people don't. Some people value nature. Some people don't. We don't have to change our value systems based on what society or an organization or a person values. Because if our values don't align, we don't want to work with them anyway. If anything, them saying no and the reasons why they say no, not because like they don't have the capacity or the budget or whatever, but like the reasons they say no really opens our eyes to like, oh, are y'all really about what y'all talking about or no? Right? It opens our eyes to who these people are. And we can honor their no's. We can honor their no's. And no, every time you get a no, celebrate. Because that is you taking a chance. You know what I mean? Like seriously, every time someone says no, celebrate yourself because you said yes. You said yes to yourself. You said yes to your dream, your vision. You said yes to the big ask. Go for big asks. Big. Do not limit yourself based on what you think. Because sometimes our thoughts about ourselves are off. Sometimes the way that we value ourselves is off. Sometimes what we value, how we value what we bring, what we share, right? What we offer is off. Sometimes our value systems are off. And that's why we're not even asking for the big ask, because we don't think we're worthy. We don't think we're good enough. We don't think our vision is important. You know what I'm saying? Go for the big asks. If you want to get to the big asks, start small. Can you do the dishes for me? Can you help me with this? What do you think about this? Right? I'm accepting donations, right? Just letting people do what they're going to do, but being open enough to ask for it, being vulnerable enough, practicing vulnerability. That's scary. Practicing allowing people to tell you no. That's scary, right? It's a lot of unlearning that has to happen, but you can do that in process. So anyway, my point is go for the big asks, right? Because the worst that they can say is no, and you never know. You might get more than what you asked for, or something you didn't even know you needed, or something you didn't even know to ask for, but you'll never know if you're on this side of the ask. Take the leap, send the email. I'm trying to give myself 10 big asks a week. I'm gonna start. Because sometimes I don't even know what to ask. So I need to get clear on what I want to ask. Or even just saying, hey, do you have a way that you can help me? Be delusional, using air quotes. Be delusional. Ask for what you want. The worst they can say is no. And people might honor the delusional ask. Listen. Like Nina said, Brad does it every day. You can do it too. All right? I love you. I see you. Don't let nobody devalue you or your dreams. Don't allow yourself to devalue yourself in your dreams, because that's where it's starting. That's where it's starting. Go for the big ask, because the worst they can say is no, and it's not the end of the world. No is not right now. No is, sorry, I'm trying to block these people. No is not right now. No is, maybe later. No is okay. Pivoting, like knowing I can pivot to go ask somebody else now or ask for something different, right? But you'll never know on this side of the ask. So what's stopping you? I want to hear from you. What is stopping you from asking, for going for the big asks? For me, it's the fear of rejection. It's devaluing myself and my ideas. It is the courage it takes, the muscle it takes to like actually form the email, to write it and not say, hey, I was wondering. No, I would like X, Y, and Z. To be what's the word? Assertive. Ooh, to be assertive for me is difficult sometimes. So, yeah, we can do it, because the reason why I'm afraid of being assertive is because I don't want to be seen as difficult or angry or entitled, right? These titles that we try to avoid, but people doing this every single day. And I know I got a good heart. I mean, well, I ain't trying to take advantage of nobody. I'm not trying to scam nobody. You feel me? Like, my idea deserves to be seen by the light of day in other people. And if I'm looking to spread my message and to do my thing, I got to ask for the help. I got to put down shame and fear and just go for it. So I hope this is helpful. Just go for the big asks. All this to say, go for the big asks. I believe in you. I see you. Believe in yourself and your dreams, because they wouldn't be given to you if you couldn't do it. That idea, like, oh, I should ask. That's God leading you. Listen, follow that intuition. Even if there's a no, there's something else on the side of it that you're missing out on by being disobedient and not taking the steps. Sometimes the reason why we need to ask is so that we can hear no enough times so that we're not burdened by it anymore. There's so much on the other side of that ask, and I want you to go for it. And I'm going to go for it as well. I'm going to share my journey as well. And we're going to do the things. All right, I believe in you. I see you. I believe in you. I see you. I love you. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.